Hello. 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 I realized the music had stopped playing because I switched the scene. So you guys didn't even get to jam out. Okay, we can pause the music for a second. Did everyone see Dohack is back? Yes, brother, I did. I'm super excited. Dohack is fucking back. Teaser looks pretty cool. Pretty excited for it. Other than that, we did have like, I guess like there's like some quick FF7 news we could go over real quick before we like hop into this. Let me find it. I want to say Hamaguchi did an interview with was it Game Informer, since they do stuff, or no, I thought I saw, who the fuck did the fucking, well, maybe I'll just find it later. Will not compromise on graphics whatsoever. We can read this one because that's pretty interesting. Let me pull it up on the screen. I'll have to make that, and then I have to do this right here. I'll just slide this over. Okay, so an article from Eurogamer. Take this off, sorry. So an article from Eurogamer says that Naoki Hamaguchi says that Final Fantasy VII Remake 3 will not compromise on graphics whatsoever, despite the multi-platform release. So let's go ahead and read the article. If you're learning that the next entry into the Final Fantasy VII Remake series was going to be multi-platform, had you worried about the graphical quality of Square Enix's upcoming narrative roller coaster, a recent interview with Naoki Hamaguchi put those fears to rest. Oh, wait. So it was Automaton's actually the source of the interview that I was seeing people. Okay, let's actually look at this one then. So, let's see. Hamaguchi says the Final Fantasy VII Remake series has been, or not Hamaguchi, I'm sorry. The interviewer asked, the Final Fantasy VII Remake series has centered on high-end platforms like PS5 and PC, but now you're making a move to include comparatively lower spec platforms like Xbox Series X and Nintendo Switch. While this is certainly welcome news, some fans online have voiced a concern that this could lead to the third installment compromising on graphics to match a lower spec system. Has the shift to multi-platform development had any such impact on you? What the fuck? Fucking hate this thing. Let me see. I want to see if you could see chat while we do this. That way, you guys on YouTube and you guys on Twitch can see each other's thing. And then give me 1 second to fix something. Okay, great. Sorry about all that. Hamaguchi saying, both the Switch 2 and the Xbox versions have been incredibly well received and generated a lot of buzz online. That attention has made me realize how many people are worried about the issue. However, our decision to go multi-platform with the Final Fantasy VII Remake series will not in any way lower the quality of the third installment. Our development structure doesn't work that way to begin with. I suppose I'll just have to keep saying it. Yeah. So essentially, they're making all of this for a high-end PC. And then from there, what they do is that they scale the graphics down to work on a PS5 and an Xbox. And then they scale the graphics down even further in order to work on a Switch 2. I don't imagine that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3 is going to be so much more graphically aggressive that the Switch 2 wouldn't be able to run it. Because, I mean, if they got Rebirth working, then I assume they would be able to get Part 3 working. And I assume all the same graphical specifications that are needed to run Rebirth will be pretty much the same for part 3. I can't imagine you needing like, you know, brand new hardware to run part 3 if your current systems didn't run Rebirth. So I imagine it'll be roughly the same. He says, while it does feel reassuring to hear that from you, considering your background as an engineer, I think it's also a given that a developer wouldn't say anything negative about their own work before release. It could just be interpreted as marketing talk. How would you address that? Okay. No disrespect to the interviewer, but how is he supposed to answer that? I feel like, because I'm just like, well, yeah, he's not going to say anything bad, but also, you know, he can't like, he can't say anything at all. So you kind of just have to take the question at the surface level, or his answer at the surface level. But Hamaguchi said, I understand why people might think that. Since I haven't previously had the chance to explain in detail why there's no need for concern, I'd like to take this opportunity to do so. I've heard talk that this has been circulating ever since the Switch 2 and the Xbox versions launched. So if I can help ease even a little of that anxiety, then I'd be glad. Thank you. So to return to the question, why can you say that adding platforms with performance gaps won't lead to a decline in graphical quality on high-end systems? When developing a game, there are four key points to consider across platforms. First, the CPU, the computational side that governs character behavior and executes game logic. The second is GPU, which handles graphics rendering and related tasks. Okay, we have like a little diagram here. The third is RAM, or memory, which determines how much data can be loaded while the game is running. You can often hear that Xbox Series S is difficult to port to, and that's largely because it has less memory compared to other platforms. If the memory is insufficient, it can even cause the game to hang, as in freeze up / stop responding. By contrast, the Switch 2 has ample memory, which makes it relatively easy to develop for in that respect. Finally, there's ROM, or storage media such as cartridges or discs. In the past, we often had to reduce the data size to fit within the physical media constraints. Broadly speaking, I believe these four elements are key considerations in game development. Well, yes. Also, as a point of interest from your local Falcom shill, this approach for FF7 R3 is the exact opposite with their current in-house FDK. They build around Switch 2 primarily, then scale to the PlayStation and PC ports from there. Right. And it makes sense for Falcom to do it. Honestly, it makes sense to do it either way. Whenever you're building like kind of like a big AAA blockbuster, it makes sense to do it kind of the way 7R3 is doing it, but you can do it both ways for sure. And nowadays, Unreal Engine and other like game engines, they have tools inside of them to help you downgrade downgrade models and level of detail so that they can run on lower end platforms without losing so much of their quality. So they're able to do a lot. And then Hamaguchi says, I'll break them down one by one. Regarding ROM and overall game size, the Switch 2 Physical Edition uses a game key card through which data is loaded. That means we don't need to shrink data to just fit in on a cartridge or improve read speeds, so it's highly unlikely to affect game sizes on other platforms. As for RAM, As for RAM, the Switch 2's ample memory means there's little concern there. The Xbox Series S does have its limits, but we have already optimized for each platform individually to hit the absolute limit, so memory constraints on one platform don't impose restriction on others. Now about CPU. I feel like there's been a shift over the past 4 or 5 years. Traditionally, 30 FPS was the basic standard for console RPGs. But with the arrival of the PlayStation 5 and Series X, we've entered an era where 60 FPS is expected on consoles as well. You goddamn right. I do expect 60 FPS. But when 30 FPS happens, again, this is like the PC guy and me talking. When it happens, I'm just like, hey, that's fucking consoles for you. That is what they do. There's always these types of bottlenecks. And so, interviewer says, that's true. 60 FPS is a given nowadays. Hamaguchi, our approach to developing games is based on the idea that if a title runs at 30 FPS on platforms like PS4, Switch 2, and Xbox Series S, it should be able to achieve 60 FPS on high-end platforms. In other words, we don't design our game to fully saturate a high-end CPU at 30 FPS. Instead, on hardware that lends additional CPU headroom, we scale density elements, like increasing the number of NPCs in a town. As a result, towns feel more alive on high-spec hardware, while lower-spec systems may display fewer NPCs. So even factoring in the Nintendo Switch 2 or Xbox Series S support, CPU-related bottlenecks are unlikely. Finally, the area where most people are concerned is about the GPU, the graphical processor. When a game launches across multiple platforms, many enjoy comparing the visual differences like in those side-by-side comparison videos. Digital Foundry. The main concern is that if development assumes hardware of a certain level as the standard, all platforms might be able to pull it off, might be able to pull that level of quality off, might be pulled to that level of quality. Kind of a weirdly word to sit it. But he says, what I'd like to clarify first is that the highest end gaming environment is PC. While PC gaming is gradually expanding in Japan, overseas growth has been even more rapid. The market has brought in tremendously across both consoles and PC. The FF7 Remake series has sold very well on platforms like Steam and Epic Game Store, so we develop assets with the broad PC market in mind. In fact, our 3D assets are created at the highest quality level based on PC as the foundation. I mean, yeah. If you want to play games at like the ultimate highest quality, you do need a gaming PC. I don't think water is wet. Yeah. Yeah. I think only like the real previously Xbots, because I don't think Xbots exist anymore. At least I don't think they do. And Sony ponies won't try to argue with you otherwise. But yeah, obviously water is wet. When Final Fantasy VII Rebirth launched, there was talk about how the PC version looked better than the PS5, and our philosophy will not change for the third installment. As our fundamental principle, we do not design assets to meet the lowest baseline. Instead, we create them for high-end environments first. We then apply what we call reduction. This is what I was just talking about, where you take the super high-end asset and then you scale it down to be able to run on consoles. This is exactly that. Adjusting assets and tuning them appropriately for each platform. This means we avoid negatively impacting high-spec platforms. This isn't unique to us either. I believe it's fairly common practice among developers in recent years. Yeah, this is also what you see happening with... almost dropped my controller. This is also what you see happening with the Capcom games like Resident Evil or Pragmata, those games which are coming to Switch 2. Again, they basically have designed it for high-end PCs. It gets scaled down to run on PS5 and on Xbox, and then it gets scaled down even further to run on the Switch 2. So that's what they do. They make the game look as good as possible, so everyone who plays it on PC will be able to enjoy it. And then, you can also enjoy it on lower spec platforms as well. And it's good to do things this way. Part of the reason that you do want to do things this way is because, especially if you ever have to re-release games in the future, if you ever PlayStation 6 comes out, you can always up the graphical detail. Something like a PS5 Pro comes out, again, you can scale up So it's always good to make the game at the utmost highest quality possible and then scale down. People who don't see how superior graphically PCs are usually either playing very unoptimized games on a PC not meant for modern gaming, or have a very bad monitor, or are trolling. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a reason why, again, that I just it's just come to be like my main platform over the years, because I know that even if I don't have the hardware to play the game at max spec when it drops, in like a few years I will. You know what I'm saying? Which means that I can go back to those games and then they play even better than when I first bought them. And one such example of that is literally Final Fantasy 15. When I got Final Fantasy 15 on PC, I had a 1080 Ti, and now I have a 4070 Ti Super. So as you can imagine, when I go back to 15 and when we play it at like fucking 4K quality, and we have like all like the high resolution textures, all the effects turned on the max, I'm going to be getting more value out of that game when I revisit it again with better hardware. I'll be able to play it at a better resolution and a better frame rate than when I first bought it. So again, that's just like one of the things that I like about PC, because I continue to kind of get value out of my purchases with games. So I'm glad that they are continuing this style of development. And hopefully if Final Fantasy 17 is going to be coming to, say, all platforms, then this is the type of development I would like them to embrace, and not necessarily developing it for like Switch 2 as like the baseline and then just getting an upscaled version of that for every other platform. For high spec platforms, can you simply use the original asset? For high spec platforms, you can simply use the original assets without modifications, right? Speaking in purely technical terms, we categorize PS5 and PS5 Pro as mid-range platforms internally. Compared to high-end PCs, textures may differ by roughly 1.5 to 2 times, mesh loading by 1.5 to 2 times, and polygon counts by more than 3 times. That's how big the difference can be. Yeah. And there were definitely some crash outs over this. The mid-range power of the PS5. That's also, that's always like what you should expect kind of like a console to be, right? Like a console is going to be a mid-range powered PC. And that's good, right? It's an affordable mid-range PC that anyone can buy and start playing games. That's like the purpose of a console. Anyways, continuing onward, conversely, among currently supported systems, the one adjusted toward the lower specification is Steam Deck, since it operates at less than half the PS5's baseline. Therefore, I like to say once again that multiple platforms does not impact overall quality. That's true. It just depends on the platform that you're playing it on. So, I see. So PC serves as your lead platform, and even the PS5 Pro is treated as something to optimize for, like with other platforms. That's correct. By the way, when adapting the game for each platform, simply lowering the quality across the board isn't necessarily the solution, because this can compromise the intended visual expression. That's why we have to make sure to review everything by eye and fine-tune so that we can match, so that each port matches the original vision. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't just turn down the graphics and everything stay the same. Sometimes you actually fuck things up that are really important. Roy Mustang, thank you so much for this super chat. Square making streamlined progression mechanics available for FF7 Rebirth is them admitting that the game is a chore to play and a dull slog to finish. I don't know if I would go that far, because they did it with Remake as well. I think what they're trying to do, Roy Mustang, is that I think that they're trying to provide a method for people to like just steamroll through the fucking game. Right? Like just like plow through it in order to get to part 3. And I don't know if I agree with them approaching things like this. And the reason that I hesitate on it is because I feel like it creates a situation where people don't really invest in the game quite as much, and they just kind of like blow through it and not give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you should actually play them. And I think that if you just want to be able to hop into part 3, you should just watch a YouTube compilation. I really do. I really think that that is actually a better way for you to get into part 3 than to use those streamline progression methods. The YouTube video is easy, it's faster. You can turn on like speed multiplier so you can watch it at 1.5 or 2x speed, and I think that that you'd probably have a better experience doing that than you would turning on those cheats and just blasting through the game. Because I don't think those things, I think it treats the game as like an obstacle, basically, for you to get to part 3. I get why they have them, but I think that it's just not like a good move. I just don't know anyone who's really going to practically use them in good faith. Right? Like, I just don't know anyone who would like really use it. And I genuinely hope that part 3 does not have it at all. Because I don't even understand like why you would need it for part 3. Why the fuck would you need it for part 3? Like, you're already on part 3, right? So I think it'd be fine if part 3 came with those things later on. But when the game launches, I'm in agreement with Baby Seal on this situation, where I think that when the game launches, it should not be there. Roy Mustang, thank you for another super chat. Be honest, NSP. If you spent years developing a game, would you implement features that allow players to ignore all of the game's mechanics? Hell no. Hell no, I wouldn't. I would be so against it. I think that there's kind of a reason that, and I know that like we use FromSoft games as like a point of comparison here a lot, and it's not to say that like I think that like Final Fantasy should turn into Souls or anything, but it is to say that I do think that FromSoft kind of showed that people enjoy friction a lot more than we usually think, let's say. Because typically it's portrayed in such a way that people just want the game to give them everything. And this is kind of the way that we develop games nowadays. We make games so that like there's always some type of feature, there's always some type of cheese that just lets you skip the whole thing, and the game never gives you any type of friction about getting through everything or anything. And I think that that's not necessary to do. I think it's okay for games and game developers to just say no. Learn the fucking game or play the fucking game. I think easy mode is enough, right? Like, I don't understand what more is necessary than easy mode, right? Like, what more is necessary? Like, once easy mode is there, do you really need a don't even play the game mode? You know what I'm saying? Like, easy mode already allows people to access the game. So I don't think we need to lower that barrier even further. So they say, well, you know what? You don't even have to play now. The game fucking plays itself. Just run to the quest markers and it's okay. I get what they're thinking. They're thinking that people will use this feature to be able to rush through part 1 and 2 and get to part 3. But no one's really going to do that. I don't know any gamer that would swallow their pride enough and do that. A lot of gamers won't even swallow their pride and play on easy. A lot of them won't. And I want to be clear here that I don't think that there is anything wrong with playing a game on easy. Actually, if easy is the way in which that's most accessible for you, then I think that you should play it. But I think there's also a difference between playing a game on easy and these streamlined modes, which basically are not even playing the game. They are literally just skipping the game. It's like a skip cutscene option, but for like the skip gameplay option. You know, like you can skip through all the gameplay and just get to the cutscene. And I'm just like, why would you pay money to do that? Why would you pay money to skip the video game and just get to the cutscenes? I feel like if you want to do that, you will just have a tremendously better gameplay or better narrative experience by booting up a YouTube cutscene compilation and watching that. So, yeah, I want my games easy, but don't want to skip anything. Right. And that's totally fair, right? You may just want to relax. You may just want to, or you may not be capable of it, or, you know, whatever the case. I don't judge for why you want to play easy. That's fair. But like to say that like you don't even want to play the game, that's where I draw some contention. I think easy mode is enough, right? I think easy mode is enough. I think that if there's a clear through line problem with all of Square Enix's games right now, and this isn't like, it's not just a Creative Studio 1 problem or a Creative Studio 3 problem. It's kind of a problem across like most of Square games. I think that they need to start making their games in such a way that also accommodates players of higher skill levels. Which is to say, they need to have harder difficulties be available up front in their games from day one. And not just always be relegated to a new game plus option. I think it works with the way the remake games work. Maybe not as much Rebirth, honestly, because of how long it is. Because I know a lot of people who beat Rebirth on normal, and they just could not go back for hard mode. And I really don't blame them, right? Like, I really don't blame anyone who couldn't go back to Rebirth's hard mode because it is such a long game. It's such a long fucking game. So, yeah. Preach. Yes, we need hard mode as an option as soon as we boot the game. Right. There needs to be a hard mode on these games. And it's been such a problem, right? We're going to be playing FF15, obviously, because we're going through it for the 10th anniversary. FF15, no hard mode. FF16, no hard mode. Kingdom Hearts 3, we have to wait like a year for critical to get patched in, right? It's not even like a problem with like one team or like this or that. It's really like the whole company kind of operates under this philosophy of where they think players don't want challenge, right? I'm a believer in easy mode, but I'm also a believer in hard mode, which is really to say, I think that any type of challenge that you're looking for, whether that be the lightest of challenges on easy mode, or the heaviest of challenges on the hardest difficulty, you should be able to find that. FF13, no hard mode. Dude, FF13 should have had a hard mode, actually. I think that would have like made more people appreciate FF13 a lot more if that game had a hard mode. I think that's true of like 15 and 16 as well. I mean, 16 has Ultimaniac, but there are so many barriers for you to actually get to all the Ultimaniac challenges. I think that people would have appreciated the combat of all three of those games so much more if they made it so that you had to engage with the systems and there was a harder difficulty that showed you in which ways those games are actually more deep. But yeah, personally, unless it's near, I don't want to have to play the game multiple times to get everything aside from a reasonable amount of chapter selects for missed things here and there. Yeah, I think new game plus hard modes are great, but I think that there should be a first playthrough hard mode. right? Like I think I love like 7 remakes, new game plus hard mode, but I think that there should be like a hard mode that like unlocks right then and there. Does Final Fantasy mode count as a hard mode? I mean, yeah, but I think a lot of people didn't find Final Fantasy mode super hard. I think that most people find Ultimaniac to be like the real hard mode. The general consensus that I see is that like most people feel like Final Fantasy mode should have been normal, and like Ultimaniac should be like hard that you can play throughout the entire game as like a real mode, which is what I think. 13 has unbalanced difficulty spikes, unbalanced difficulty with random spikes. I don't think that they're random spikes. I think that the bosses, I think, well, I guess I can see it from your point of view, but I guess the way I see it is that the bosses were kind of like tests to see how much you were engaging with the mechanics with the regular enemies. And if you weren't doing that in 13, the boss would like reveal how much of the system you did or did not know. I do think that 13 probably has maybe the hardest boss encounters in the mainline series. I would probably say. Does anyone disagree with that? I'm trying to think. But offhand, I want to say 13 has like the hardest bosses in the story, like just like playing through the story. Not like super bosses, just like story bosses. There were some bosses that were just easy, and some bosses like Bartandalus that were like, what the fuck? Yeah. Yeah. For example, Digimon Time Stranger has hard mode on the first playthrough, was actually piss easy, and New Game Plus and Mega Plus turned the game into Shin Megami Tensei 3. Yeah, I'm not counting optionals, because optionals it gets really kind of difficult to decide. 10 also has like, I would say 13 and 10 have like some very fucking challenging boss fights. People who say you can auto battle the entire game have never actually played the game. I guess my understanding of that criticism was that it basically like you hit auto battle a lot, but not so much that it plays the game, but it's always the correct thing to do. I guess that like as long as you're managing your paradigms, you can just auto battle, which is kind of like the surface level criticism that people give. But even then, I don't agree. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you that I don't think that's necessarily the case. 13 didn't teach you its mechanics well enough in a natural way. You have to read a thesis for that. It's actually, and this is like one of the worst aspects of 13, I think, is that 13 actually has a very deep system, but then it puts you in like a 30-hour tutorial to teach you that system that really could have been taught to you in like 5 to 10 hours. And in somehow doing that 3 times as long, it still doesn't actually teach you all of the actual mechanics that it has. It's so fucking strange. The game doesn't even teach you all of the depth it has, and it has such a long ass fucking tutorial. And I don't understand why, because it just does not even need to. Roy Mustang, another super chat. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it. FF Tactics has the hardest bosses and the hardest FF game, but you can also make really OP characters and parties if you know what you're doing. I mean, that's peak RPG and peak Final Fantasy, right? I think that good RPG design is when the game does present like a really good challenge, but if you're smart and you really know what you're doing, you can definitely overcome all those struggles. What about FF12? FF12 definitely has like some really really good bosses. So I think that boss fights have not like really fallen off for Final Fantasy. Well, I think that 15 probably has like really kind of weaker boss fights. But I think that like if you look at like again 12, 13, 15, 12, 13, 16, 7R, I think all of those games have really good boss design. 14, I don't know how I would count 14 because raid design is different than like regular boss fight design. But 14 does have good boss fight design before they come in and basically nerf the living shit out of it and turn it into something brain dead. But usually 14 has good boss design when it first comes out, and then they basically make it so vanilla and uninteresting that it kind of kills the fight. But that's been like kind of the problem with 14, and I think most 14 fans agree with that. Tactics is rather unbalanced and Giga RNG rather than hard IMO. Like you can get instant game over just due to bad RNG on certain bosses where NPCs need to be protected, etc. It's not easy, mind you, but I'd also say 13 is the hardest. Yeah, I would probably say that 13 has the hardest story bosses of... Well, I'm trying to think because 7R also has, well, but I'm trying to think about normal too. So I'm not including the hard mode difficulties. And if we're only sticking to the mainline numbered games, then yeah, I would say 13. Anyways, let's continue the interview. Since we're on the topic of visuals, let me ask a slightly pointed question. Some people argue that if you're going to spend resources optimizing for a lower spec, those resources might be better off invested in improving assets or creating new content, ultimately benefiting more dedicated fans more. How would you respond to that? Okay, that's a good question. Hamaguchi, I see. Let me put it this way. By making the Final Fantasy VII Remake series multi-platform, we're increasing the number of players who can access and play the game. That means our work can reach more people. Naturally, that leads to higher overall sales. With an additional revenue, we can forecast returns and reinvest them into development. In other words, if supporting a particular platform is expected to increase sales by a certain amount, that allows us to expand our development budget and resources accordingly. That said, to be honest, my biggest reason is that as a creator, I'm genuinely happy to see more people get to play the games we've made. I mean, that's actually a great response and a true response, right? The more money goes in, the more they can invest and the better stuff they can make. So in the long run, even players on higher end platforms benefit from ports. Since I've already asked one tough question, let me add another. Some worry that going multi-platform means the development team isn't able to devote itself to the trilogy's finale. How would you address that concern? We have a dedicated unit within my team that handles porting work, and they operate separately from the team developing the third installment. The porting unit is deeply committed and has been tuning those versions with meticulous care, so I trust them to oversee their work from a distance. That allows me to focus on the third game. Development of the third installment is progressing smoothly, and we're almost exactly on the schedule with milestones we set at the beginning of the project. The game is already in a playable state, and right now, we're in the final push phase, refining and building up the experience. We're at the stage where quality improves day by day, and each time we play it. The scenery feels different, so it's genuinely and each time we play it, the scenery feels different, so it's genuinely exciting. I think it won't be too long before we're able to share some kind of update with everyone. So, in other words, Remake 3 is coming really, really soon. it is probably not that long before we'll get it. Dude, Sid Reigns in Final Fantasy 13, that is a brutal fucking boss fight. Yeah, the problem with 13 is not incredible boss fights, that's for sure. Because that game has, again, some of the best fucking boss fights in the series. They're incredibly well designed. They're super challenging. They're fun and interesting, and, well, the design of the fight is interesting. Let me clarify. The character that the boss might be is not necessarily the most interesting, but the actual fight is pretty fucking interesting. So, I saw a few questions in chat. People were asking, why the fuck are you playing this? And that is a good question. Why the fuck have I plugged in my PlayStation 4 for the first time since 2019 to play a demo, 2 demos, of a decade-old game? And it's precisely that. Final Fantasy 15 turns 10 years old this year. And the concept for Final Fantasy Versus 13, as we know it, turns 20. Holy shit. Robert Smith, thank you so much for the super chat. Sid in 13 was a nightmare to fight. Dude, he was brutal. He was so brutal. I love that fight, man. It was so good. I'm actually excited to replay 13 once we get around to it. I'm waiting for a remaster to drop before we do that, but when we do, I'm excited to try to replay it. So, I have started a project, basically, to go back and make content on the development history of Final Fantasy 15. However, this is basically the hardest project I've had to do. And the reason is because there is so much content, so much information available on Final Fantasy 15 that it is insane to go through it all. So the first phase of this project was the Final Fantasy Versus 13 essay that I put out, where I did a look back on Final Fantasy Versus 13, which you can go and watch now. The second video that we're going to be doing is going to be about the development history of Final Fantasy 15. So most videos that are about the development history of Final Fantasy 15, they usually focus on verses, right? They're usually like 80% verses, and then 20% like, oh, this is what Final Fantasy 15 was, and it came out, and yeah. But actually, the part of it that's Final Fantasy 15 is kind of like what's interesting to me, because so much information and so much stuff happened in the conversion from Versus to 15 that I think that is actually worth focusing on, rather than just the look at Versus, right? So I actually want to more intimately look at the game, the Final Fantasy 15 that we got. And part of the reason that I want to do that is because it also gives perspective on what Versus was supposed to be as well, right? Because it distinguishes the two, Nomina's vision and 15's vision and Tabata's vision. So I want to explore 15 further as its own thing, and just really go back through the whole conversion process that happened. Because, dude, you know, the active time reports, like watching this game get developed in real time, basically by the developers. You know, as we saw when we took a look at Episode to Sky last stream, we saw that like within like 18 months, like maybe a year and a half, they went and redid the entire combat system within that stretch of time before the game released, right? Episode Duskai first launched in March of 2015. And then Final Fantasy 15, the full game, launched in November 2016. So in that span of time, they reworked how combat fundamentally worked, how the armature worked, how the abilities worked, how MP worked. They removed stuff, they added stuff. It's crazy. There's like this entire story happening here where this team is, and I don't want to say rushing, but really rushing is the appropriate word here. And not in a sense of where, like, you know, they're just slopping it together, but in a sense where they had like 3 years basically to just produce a game. And it's a nightmare scenario. I empathize with them heavily having to do this, right? And Versus 13 has like a whole decade of like Nomura thinking up ideas and concepts and coming up with this grandiose vision. And then the 15 team, you know, they have to come in and turn a 3-game, a whole trilogy epic into a single game. And this is something that Tabata talks a lot about in his interviews, right? Where he's like, you know, Versus 13 had 3 games, or he didn't explicitly say how many games it was, but we know from various leaks that it was meant to be 3 games. But he implies that it's more than one game. And he says that Final Fantasy 15 couldn't be multiple games. It had to all end in one game. We really see this in the backside of Final Fantasy 15, where the open world feels like one game, and then the last few chapters of Final Fantasy 15 feel like a ton, like 2 or 3 games like rushed together, right? It feels like there's at least 2 video games in there that are just like crushed together, right? I just skimmed through 15 seconds of your last stream to look at combat. Man, it looked floaty. I don't know if like floaty isn't like the word I'd use. It's like I think that sometimes like the combat is awkward, if that makes sense. Like and maybe that does include floaty, I don't know, but like the word that comes to mind to me sometimes is awkward. You know how things in, say, like if you play like Kingdom Hearts 2, or honestly even if you play like Final Fantasy 16, things chain together like really well in those games, but it doesn't ever feel like a flow state gets going in Final Fantasy 15, and I think that's kind of my problem with it. So I want to like really heavily dive into it and see if I can find combat for it, or find sauce for the combat that makes it feel like there is a flow state, but like I can never really find one whenever I'm playing 15. Whereas again, you know, if I'm playing 16 or 7R or any other action game, I feel like I can find that state. Yeah, the added part after the first release feels rushed and corridorish rather than the open world. Yeah. Exactly. It feels like a different game. And I think that they were trying to take concepts from like the later Final Fantasy Versus 13 sequels and just put them all into the back end of 15. Is this the bit you play when FF15 is installing? No. We're just playing Platinum Demo today. But we will start FF15 proper soon. There's a reason why Beast of Reincarnation has a sort of menu-based command system similar to 7R, yeah. Is the 10th anniversary leak, is that the one where like they're gonna do 15 remaster? I can tell you that it's false. Like, I can tell you with the utmost confidence that it's false. The reason I can tell you it's false is because Square Enix basically shut down the Final Fantasy 15 Twitter page right before the 10th anniversary. They basically went on there and said, we have no more updates, and basically we never will have any more updates. It's over. Stop hoping for more. They didn't like fully say that, but if you read it, trust me, you would read it that way. And everyone was kind of dooming over it because it's like, damn, Square is like fucking done with Final Fantasy 15. They don't like, they don't want to fuck with this shit anymore at all. And I get it, but it's so sad, man. Okay, let's go ahead and start the demo. Yeah, like once I saw that, I was like, fuck, dude, it's Jover. I thought that they would do like at least like a Switch 2 port. Hey, we made a version that runs on like PS5 like really well. It's like it has like the PC version's features that have been backported to the PS5 and you can play it. No. They basically said, please never hope for anything Final Fantasy 15 related again. We're done. Oh shit. There we go. Hello, can you read this? Wait. No game audio? Okay. How about that? It's there now? Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'm waiting for chat to say it's there. Okay, cool. I'll put it like right here. Okay, cool.
Hey, wait!
This is the world of your dreams. Also, someone was saying that this is definitely like in Versus 13. Well, one of the things that we know about Versus 13 is that Noctis had like these sort of dreams that were also kind of different realities. And so I do think that this is like a Versus 13 concept. And even in some of the earlier Final Fantasy 15 trailers, I want to say that Prompto was like, whenever you sleep, it's like you're dead. And that was that was definitely a Versus 13 thing. Did I get that one? I did get it. Okay, cool. Don't worry about that guy. He may look scary, but he's really a gentle giant. Also, the KH fan in me loves how Kingdom Hearts 1 in particular, this demo feels. It kind of feels like this is like the KH1 Noctis. So like, you know what I'm saying? You haven't dozed off? You're out cold? Haven't just dozed off. If you want to wake up and see everyone again, we're going to have to find the exit. Yeah, can we at least get like the Versus 13 book? You know what I'm saying? So we can just know. So the discussion can just end. Yeah, so KH coded. Yeah, it's like super KH coded. It's like very like Kingdom Hearts 1, but Final Fantasy 15. And so I really liked this demo when it came out. And if there is anything that Final Fantasy 15 could have done, for me, it would have been more sections like this where you play as Kid Noctis, because I just think that this is like really fun to like have these type of like platformer sections and to have like a little bit different combat, and it's cool. They don't look so friendly. You won't be able to take them down barehanded. Here. Cool. Okay, by pressing on the touchpad. And then we have completely different controls than the last demo. And SP, thank you so much for bringing this up. Oh yeah, man, for sure. Maybe this way? No, fuck you. This way, Carpunk. Are we gonna see Leviathan here? Is that what it was? I want to say. Yeah, Leviathan. Joe, thank you so much for the Prime Gaming sub. I appreciate it. Even his toy weapons are like the KH2 struggle weapons. Yeah, they are. I think they should have like leaned into this in the main game for sure. I was really wanting them to focus more on the father-son relationship between him and Regis, but they didn't do that, unfortunately. So I just wish they had the time, you know, in order to make that a thing, really. It's strange how FF15 has so much cut content while at the same time having so much ancillary content as well. Seems like they should have poured all those resources into the core product. Yeah, I think the way they were looking at it was that they could have other teams kind of making those things, but then the problem is that you end up with some shit that's like really disjointed, right? Hold circle to grab a bomb, and then aim with the left stick, then let go to launch at one of your foes. Okay, cool. So I think we need to equip that, right? Yep. Or was it over there? Aha! I think I found it. Also, another part about this is that's crazy is that they basically modeled out entire rooms inside of the castle. And like, I guess we get to go there at the end, but I'm like, dang, we didn't get to visit any of this while it was still like that. And it's really unfortunate because I think it would have hit harder when we returned to Insomnia if we had saw what these places looked like when they were normal, and then we got to saw them you know, when they were all fucked up. But we kind of skipped straight to the part where it's fucked up and not get to see the sort of Nichijou, you know, like the normal everyday life of insomnia, which would have been really important, you know. Also, how cool is it that you can just like transform into like a truck? I think I have to like, do I press R2 I think to accelerate? Yeah. And it's a different truck each time. Also, I mean, obviously, like, Shimamura, right? But, like, this feels so KH in terms of how the battle theme sounds. It is, like, definitely the same style that she uses for KH. No question. Wonder why they didn't use this as the main games tutorial. I think it would have been great for that too. Bro, this like literally feels like Wonderland in KH1. Yeah, or like Toy Box, right? I love the soundtrack. My favorite non-Uematsu soundtrack. Yeah, I think... Dang, I'm trying to think. What's my favorite non-Uematsu soundtrack? I mean, 14, I guess, would be... Probably... But then 14 is not a non-Uematsu soundtrack, because 14 does have Uematsu, technically. Probably 13, actually, if I'm honest. 13 probably has my favorite non-Uematsu soundtrack. This is really close, but the only thing about this game that probably stops it is just, there are just so many large stretches where you don't hear any music at all. And I think that holds it back for me. Because I think it would be this if it wasn't for that. But I think 13 uses its music in a better way. Oh, fuck. I'm getting fucked up. I was trying to throw a ball. I just wanted to, like, throw one. Also, again, I love how KH1... Can I do a jump attack? Let me see. Oh no, you just land. That's kind of like... I can't remember if the main game has an ability for this or not. But I don't like how, like, when you do a jump attack, you just land. You know what I'm saying? Like, gravity doesn't stop. Obviously, that is realistic. That is how gravity does, in fact, work. But it's not Kino. You know what I'm saying? I want gravity to suspend for a little bit while I do that attack, right? Like, while I do my sort of chain, you know? The Versus 15 recreation in Dreams? I don't think I have. And then, of course, this is very tech demo, so you get to see, like, all of this stuff happen. Right here, the house. The next exit's inside. Cool. I guess I just now realized that this is Noctis's room as a kid, and I guess this was to be a dream that you were mentioning. Yeah. So this is a dream that you're playing as in like inside of the castle, and yeah, it's like a childhood dream. It's really cool. I thought that Carbuncle would have like maybe a little bit more focus in the main game, but he's literally just a DLC summon that doesn't do anything. There's so many interesting pieces of this game, and I think that's like kind of the thing about Final Fantasy 15 is that Final Fantasy 15 has some of the most interesting pieces that I've ever seen a video game have. It's just unfortunate that so many of them, they just didn't have time, or they couldn't, or there were development issues, whatever, and they weren't able to explore those things further. But I'm just like, dude, there's so much interesting shit in this fucking game. It's so fucking interesting, and then it just doesn't get to be explored any further, you know? Oh, new weapon. Oh, wait. It's circle now. Oh, shit. Okay, cool. The best unfinished game ever made, yeah. And see, that's also the thing, too, is that, like, it's not even so much of, like, dang, I wish this was Versus. It's also like, dang, I wish 15 was just finished. Like, I'm down for 15 as well. I just wish that, like, 15 was able to be finished in the way that it could have been, if that makes sense, right? And so it doesn't even have to be Versus. It can still be 15. I just want, like, the complete version of this game, too. And so, you know, a lot of times people are like, oh, you know, fuck 15, I want it Versus. But, like, dude, I like 15 and I want it Versus. And I want it 15 to be complete. You know? And in an ideal world, I would have 15 and I'd have Versus. But, yeah, and it sucks that we can't have both, but... Or either, really, because we can't have the completed... What the fuck? I hate this fucking bullshit-ass grenade, dude. I just want to hit the goddamn enemy. Wait, can I just lock on? No, you still have to aim it. Fucking shit, dude. There we go. God damn, dude. Comrade's magic is better. Like, a million times better. I don't know what they were thinking with that grenade shit, man. But that's just not it. That's just so not it. There are very few things that I feel like I'm like, they just outright should not do. And I feel like that is like one of those things where it's just like, they should have never let bro cook with that. That was not one of their better ideas. If you lock on and quick tap the button, it just throws it straight at the enemy. Really? Let's try that out. Oh, okay. Good advice, thank you. Why the fuck could you do this in this game? This is really interesting. I feel like shape-shifting should have been an ability in the main game. Robert Smith, thank you so much for the super chat. I never understood the tie-in of this game to OG-13. If I recall, maybe they're the same universe. This was going to be darker and realer. So the tie-in was essentially that they both shared the same goddess, which was Etro, right? In the same sort of mythologies. So there were Lassie and crystals, but actually there was no direct connection. So it's not like lightning would ever appear inside of Versus 13's world or anything. And they were very explicit about that too, that these were separate projects, and it was just the fact that Fabula Nova Crystallis was its own mythos. And they were all connected loosely by like concepts like Lassie and crystals and Etro. But other than that, completely different games. So what was the point of doing Fabula Nova Crystallis in the first place? Your guess is as good as mine. Inuyasha, thank you so much for the super chat. Do you think 15 having so many ideas and concepts wasted influenced FF16 being so on rails and simple? I wonder how much SC kneecaps Yoshida or not. I think that this game definitely had an influence on FF16. Yoshi P has even said as much, where he's talked about, you know, not wanting to make 16 felt like it was incomplete, not wanting it to give that sort of feeling that it was half-baked, like a lot of the stuff within Final Fantasy 15. And so it definitely did influence that game quite a lot. And the reason that Final Fantasy 16 is probably the type of action game that it is probably a double down from the sales and sort of good reception that they received from making Final Fantasy 15 action, right? Yoshi P dogged on Final Fantasy 15. He kind of did. And a lot of FF15 fans on Twitter did not like when he did that, because he was kind of like, a lot of people did interpret it that he threw shade at Final Fantasy 15. But I get it, because, you know, this game being incomplete did bring a lot of negative brand reputation to Final Fantasy. And it was a very unfortunate situation. So, wrong one. Is there anything else down here I want to see? Oh.
Ow!
The hammer is like really fun to use. Yeah, and then it is kind of funny that this game did end up outselling 16, but again, you do have to wonder like how much the perception of Final Fantasy 15, I guess, being incomplete did for some people on Final Fantasy 16 and how they would approach that game. Is this gay? Yes. Clearly. I don't understand that question. I wonder what reaction would be if Square announced they were making Versus now. I think it'd be good, mostly. Actually, I don't know if like the announcement, I just want to make sure we got everything, but I don't know if like Versus coming now would be received well. The reason why FF7 is able to stand on... Wait, I went to read that. Oh, lie. The reason FF7 is able to stand on its own with its compilation series is everyone rode that game on its balls since '97. Yeah, for sure, for sure. You know, I don't know if any other Final Fantasy game would do as well with getting its own, like, compilation. I don't know, Prompto was pretty keen on RNA, he was. And also Cindy. And who could blame him, bro? I think all, like... I think the heroines in this game are really cool. I just wish they had more time. Man, but that's the problem with everything. You know, with 15, it's just that, like, wow, that's like so cool. I just wish it had more time. And it's like, yeah, me too, bro. And yeah, so that's just the continuing theme. It's just, I just wish it all had more time. You know? And that's what they were trying to give us with Dawn of the Future, is literally more time. More time with these characters that we liked, but there just wasn't enough of. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, I like Jill quite a lot in 16, but like the only problem with Jill was just, one, you don't play as her, and then two, you don't you don't get enough time where it's like literally just really focused on her. Robert Smith, thank you for this super chat. Are you any chance you do a playthrough of FF6 T Edition? Wait, what is T Edition? I don't know what that is. Is that like a fan mod or something? Bro. And again, as you like run through the castle, I'm just like, dang, they made all these assets for the castle. And we just, we never get to rip. And as we found out recently, T Edition is a modded FF6. Oh shit, is it like a ROM hack of like Super Nintendo FF6? One that adds a ton of content, costumes, and loads of dungeons? Oh shit, okay. Maybe I should check that out then. That sounds cool. Yeah, I would definitely be down to stream something like that. I'm kind of overdue for a playthrough of FF6 in general, so yeah, I would love to do something like that. Okay, I think we're coming up on the best moment of this demo. Yes. This shit goes hard, bros. It's the Citadel. God, this shit goes so hard. Something doesn't feel right. It's your home and all, but is it truly your safe space?
No!
God, I love this shit.
Wow.
This one will protect you through your darkest dreams. But remember, Noct, in the world of your dreams, you are king.
I'm not afraid.
Cinema! Ah! Oh shit, okay. So, square, defend. Okay, get back in the groove here. Okay, wow, you can't... And this is another thing about this game's combat too, is that there's some stuff you can't just like dodge through, right? But then there also is stuff that you can just dodge through and you just don't know what it's going to be. I also hate that you can't dodge in here. Let's see. Let's see. Wait. You can finally wake up now. Awake on the play. Wait, is there a way to like make him come back? I feel like there was a way where you could like do it again. Yeah. Just want to fool around with the combat some more. Yeah, I played this so many times. Me too. What the fuck? How would I dodge that? I guess what I'm trying to figure out like what the appropriate way to dodge that, like when you're doing air combos is. Okay. Does Carbuncle heal you? Oh, he makes warp points appear. That doesn't help. Because you can't use items. Okay, there we go. The frame rate! Oh, that's so funny. Holy shit. The frame rate. Oh my god. Wait, can you do on the roof? Oh, you can. Okay. Wait, can I? Oh, what? I never knew Armature was in this demo. What the fuck? I never knew this! I never knew Armature was in this. Holy fuck. Okay, let's do it again. Let's do it again. This literally looks like the city in KH4. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Where do I begin? Where do I begin? The shuriken is up there? Wait, on the building? Is it? Let's see. Wait. How do I get there? Oh, wait. I can see it if it just... How do I get up, though? Oh, I see. Oh, wait, is... Chat! Okay. No. No. Let's see. Wait, do I get higher? I guess that's as high as you can go, right? Where the hell is it, Chad? Huh. Okay, I guess I missed it. Wow, okay. Yeah, you can't dodge that. Oh, wow, okay. Let's see. What the fuck? I was definitely holding. Okay. There we go. You have to dodge that one. And then you can dodge this. That attack, I'm actually not sure what you do to properly counter it. I meant to warp to the thing, I guess. Wait, are you able to do a counter attack on that? Because the attack button comes up, so I'm like... I can't remember if like there was like a counter attack thing that you could do with that. I want to find out. How does this feel after playing Remake in 16? Not as refined, for sure. Not nearly as refined. For example, in 16, I think that like whenever you're able to dodge, cancel into dodge is a lot easier with 16, right? Whereas with this game, I feel like canceling into a dodge is like is really hard to do sometimes. And I don't remember if maybe there was an ability that lets you cancel into a dodge or what, but there's a lot of things with the combat. I'm kind of like, wait, what the fuck do you actually want me to do to handle that attack in like a high level way, right? motherfucker. Oh shit, he like actually killed me. Hey, Carbunky got me. Oh, that's Gladiosaur, I just realized. Nice. Okay, but you have to dodge roll that attack. I just wish there was a way that the game told you, like, this attack you have to dodge roll, and this attack you can phase through, right? Because one of my biggest problems with the combat is that it's never fucking indicated, at least as far as I personally know, what attack is a phase and what attack is a dodge roll. Nice. And I think if it just had that alone, combat would be so much smoother, right? You can warp away from that ground pound? Okay. Game should not tell all things. No, there's a perfectly good argument for what you're saying too. I don't think you're wrong, but I feel like for a lot of the combat, I feel like I'm kind of just fumbling around. Ah, that's so funny. I think a lot of the combat, I end up kind of fumbling around because I'm like, this is a phase, and then it's not a phase. Combat would be much smoother if all the normals weren't tied to a single button. I think so too. Wow, Klax, thank you so much for the super chat. Do you think because Fabula Nova Crystallis was unsuccessful, it directly led to FF's poor brand identity? If it's successful, do you think there would be a much clearer idea of what FF is to SE? That is a great question. Well, yes, I think it's because that 14, 13, and 15 were all such controversial releases all in a row that it created a lot of uncertainty for people on the FF brand in general, right? Don't get me mistaken though, I think that there's a lot of people who love all of those games. I myself even like this game, you know? Like, I don't hate this game whatsoever. But definitely is the case that, like, it caused a lot of division and mixed reception among the fandom, and so Square had to, like, really figure out what they wanted to do with FF, and the brand is kind of everywhere right now, for sure. And part of that is that... Fuck! I tried to dodge roll out of that. But part of that is that the definition of Final Fantasy is kind of just like, it's the best game with the best graphics, right? Like, that's like the working definition. That's the definition that both Kitase and Nomura say it is. The problem I have with that definition is best game with the, like, best story, best gameplay, best characters. I'm like, all those things can't really easily be defined, right? Like, what is all of those things, like, right? Like, is The Last of Us a Final Fantasy? It has great characters, great story, you know, those types of things, but like, I'm just like completely fucking around if you guys haven't noticed, so. But I'm enjoying this because I do want to just like mess around in this combat system more. I'm excited for the final game when we start playing it. it wants me to attack there, but I'm like, I feel like when I do, it doesn't work. It doesn't do the thing I expected. But let's see if we can get that scenario to happen again, and I can hit attack. Oh shit! I was trying to like keep the phase going, but let's go. Okay. What the fuck, bro? Do the thing I want you to do. And you know what? I'm such a good egg. I keep pushing square instead of holding it when I need to defend. Because I feel like that's the way that it should be. Damn it. I missed it. Oh. I bet you could just warp whenever that happens. Switch to the giant sword? Oh shit, Vonti, thank you so much for this super chat. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I think I know exactly. Oh, okay. Is that why? Let's see what happens. Ah, okay. Fuck. Gotta have really good timing to land that. Okay. Nice. Let's try it again. Ah, fuck, I missed it. Fuck! Okay. Let's see. Okay, so you're supposed to warp out of that. And then... Damn. Okay. Defend prompt? Thank you, Heartsy Monty. Okay. Let's see. Oh shit. Okay. Like, why don't it come up whenever I'm trying to do that? Actually, did it glitch out? I actually think warp points have glitched out. Look. I actually think they have glitched out. They don't appear anymore, and the icon is just stuck in the top corner. Yeah, even if I don't lock on, they straight up don't appear anymore. They straight up don't appear anymore, actually. And it's still stuck in like that top corner, so yeah. What the fuck? See, I definitely pressed it. Was I not close enough, or like what happened? You don't need to warp out of that gravity well. You can just tap warp and it's fine, unless that's glitched too now. No, I think it's fine. But yeah. Oh fuck, I didn't do it. Because I always want to hit defend. That takes really good reflex. Let's see. Are they back? No. My warp points are still gone. That's cool. That's not cool. I see what you mean now. It comes up as an attack prompt, as if it's some kind of parry. Right, yeah, exactly. But if you do it, nothing happens. Like, the parry prompt itself still works, but, like, that doesn't. Okay, well. Maybe if we end the battle, the warp points will be normal. Does that greatsword counter play in the main game? I don't even remember if it does. Nope, warp points are still broken. They still are glitched out. Oh wait, no, they're not. They're back. Okay, chat, we fixed the warp points. Dang, I want to get better with dodging in air. Yeah, because obviously you can't just hold circle out of it. You actually have to like flick the stick in an appropriate direction in order to do it. Nice. Yeah, look at that frame rate. I'm super looking forward to Innis Please playthrough, but I might end up replaying it myself before that happens. This is pure nostalgia for me. Me too. Me too. It's taking everything in me to not say, fuck it, let's fire up Final Fantasy 15, like, right now. Yeah, this is the end of the demo. We're just chilling. Because one of the promises I made with this playthrough that we're going to be doing is that I promised that I am going to figure out how to actually play this game at a higher level, because this game never requires you to learn how to do it. Like, it never makes you fucking learn how to do it. But I want to learn how to do it anyways. I want to know what kind of sauce this game can actually have because I want to be able to critique the combat fair. You can tell NSP is playing this because he wants to. The retrospective is an excuse. I am. This is my roots, man. Like, as a content creator, I have a lot of love for this game, you know? Even though I have very mixed feelings on the actual thing that we got, I do owe, you know, a lot to it. I swear I was holding defend. What the fuck? You know, honestly, I need to take a look at like what aerial options you have in the main game again, because I just feel like there definitely should be some type of option that lets you dodge out of aerial stuff better, and it could just be me. It could just be a skill issue. And once to experience the combat system fully, I strongly recommend doing no item runs. It forces you to learn how to dodge, block, use healing items. Oh shit. Maybe that's what we need to do then. Warp stepping is actually so fucking sick. Yeah. I do actually think it's like really sick, like when you're pulling it off appropriately. We should actually fool around with that more. Like, actually, let's just try to like beat him like only using that. Oh shit. Oops. Cooked. Heal me up. I wish this game had a proper hard mode, man. Oh, we're stasis? Oh shit. Roy Mustang, thank you for another super chat. You should definitely check out Yasumi Matsuno games. Tactics Ogre, FF Tactics, Vagrant Story. He was my favorite writer and director at Square. Yeah, I still owe you guys an FF Tactics playthrough. Definitely been meaning to check that out. I want to get Matsuno pilled myself, so we're going to do that in the future too. Thank you again so much for the super chat. All right, let's see if we can... Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Let's see if we can fucking just like work on air stuff. Yeah, because the only problem is that if you get into the rhythm of doing an air step and then he attacks, you're kind of like locked in that attack, right? And I'm wondering, maybe I'll look up a guide on this, what the best way to air step is. Is it to just kind of like float around to the enemy's backside and then... But then he grabs you like that. So, let's see. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Chat, how do we get the shuriken? Where is it at? You guys said it was up here? I remember hearing about it back then too, and I feel like I got it. Can anyone explain, like, is it up here or? Because I thought you guys said it would be like up here. You fall down and warp inward on the balcony, so you... Alright, so you... You fall down and warp inward, so you land on the balcony. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna try one more time and see if I can find it. Oh, let me do this. This shit is so sick. Okay. Fucker. Fucker, I'm not even trying to mess with you, bro. I'm trying to save you for now. Oh, wait. We have the warp glitch again, so we have to kill him. Okay, let's kill him real quick. And then bring him back. And then see. Try to get to that warp point that overlooks the edge. Then drop from the warp point. Then use the untargeted warp to get over to the ledge. Huh. Actually, you guys know what? You guys know what? They invented this fantastic platform called YouTube. You may have heard of it. And I can just like literally look it up and see if there's somebody who... Oh wait, there's the hero shield in here too? What the fuck? Okay, hold on. I'm looking at how to do it. What the fuck? Oh, I see. I see. Okay. I got it now. I got it now. Well, kinda. It's not exactly easy to do. It takes a little bit of work. At least it looked like it from the thing. Let me see though. Are my warp points still broken? Or are they back yet? Okay, now they're back. Okay, let's see. Okay. Let's see. There we go. Got it. Hero shield. Yo. I love Yuffie. I love Yuffie. Yo. Oh wait, dang. I wanted a warp point. That's okay. Heal me up, Carbuncle. Let's play around with this some more. Let's do it. Actually, let's try this fucking shield. I don't think I ever used this shield in like the main game much, if at all. You get so many fucking weapon types in this game that it's honestly overwhelming. Battle system in this demo is better than the main game. Let's see, does this shield have any sauce to it? Okay, We know that you can block that no matter what, really. Even when you're with the shield. Okay. What the fuck? Okay. What the fuck does the shield even do? You can attack people with the shield, that's kind of it. Yeah, I'm like, dang, that's like the most sauceless weapon. Or maybe I'm wrong. But like... But this shit though, this shit is tight. Okay, that was my fault for not having. Yo, what the fuck? He hasn't done that, like, all the times we've been fighting him. As someone who really knows the combat of the full game, really does have the sauce. There are tricks to most all weapons. Okay. I want to learn this game's combat really badly. So, for the sake of this exploration of Final Fantasy 15. Oh, stasis. The shield has a unique block with perfect timing that stuns enemy. Oh. Okay. So then let's try the shield again. What's so dope about the shuriken is that you can seamlessly air stat from the ground while attacking. Okay. Wait, does it make you go and get the weapons again? Oh, okay. No, it just... Oops. I want to have them set like how I did. I was going to crash out if it made me do that. Will I do Piteos? No. I'm going to tell you right now, no. Maybe. Maybe. But right now, I want to say no. Because that's just too much. That shit is like... Oh, God. Okay, let's play around with the shield. Oh, I see! That there is sauce! There is sauce to the shield. But you have to do it at the exact right time. Oh shit, there is sauce to the shield, bro! There is sauce to the shield! Oh, fuck! Let's see. Oh, fuck, I missed it. Try it again. Oh, shit! Oh, Oh, bro! Oh! Bro! I think I'm gonna use the shield in, like, my main game build, dude. Oh, dude. Fuck yes. Fuck yes, dude. Oh, it's too late. Too late. Yeah. Too late, but dang, bro. Let's go. Oh shit. Game's been out for a decade, and guy whose entire YouTube channel is themed out there FF15 just is just now discovering this. Yeah, cause like I'll be honest, like I just didn't play around with the shield. Whenever I was like fucking around with it, cause I was just like, is that it? And I just never knew that, oh, like if you perfect parry with it, then it stuns enemies like that. That's so cool. I fuck with the shield now. Will I include Tekken 7 in my 15 retrospective? How long do you want this retrospective to be, guys? 4 hours long? Did you know you can also perform directional combos with moves, including Tempest and Thrust in the final game? I'll have to fuck around with it more. I'm sure it's been so long. I really haven't touched the game like fully in depth since back then. We did a quick run back in like 2022, but I haven't like fully figured out like went back and like deeply played and since the game, like I don't want to say first came out because I played all the DLC and stuff, but basically since that era, that time period of 2016 to like 2018. Longest NSP video? I think the longest video I ever put out was like videos like 40 minutes to an hour. I don't normally make like super long videos like that. They just take too much out of me. Oh shit. That is, I like that. It actually kind of reminds me of, I forget the name of the move, but in Final Fantasy 16, like the way Titan's fist works. Dang, I want to see if I could parry that one too. That's cool. Dang. Titanic block, yeah. Yeah, very satisfying defensive ability. Iron Giant has very obvious tells and counters that you could try and maneuver around. 99% of other enemies in this game don't do anything like that. Yeah, that's another thing too about this game, is that I've always felt like the telegraphs are non-existent. Well, it's not a feeling. The telegraphs are, in fact, non-existent. And that's like... I would actually say that's my biggest criticism of the main game's combat. At least how I currently remember it. Now, bear in mind, again, I haven't done a full playthrough of this in, like, since back in that 2016, 2018 era, where I really sat down and, like, actually played through, you know, a good chunk of the side quests, or like most of the side quests, and did all, like, that stuff, right? But it's been since then. That's why the auto dodge was made. Right. And I would rather enemies have the telegraphs and there not be an auto dodge, right? Because I feel like in the main game, a lot of the time you're just guessing if the enemy is about to attack or not. And I think that's what kind of makes the combat not live up to like what it could. Because as I come back and I give this combat good faith, there is interesting shit in here. Snakago, you have a good one. There's interesting shit in here. There's really cool stuff. It just needs like a little bit more refinement. I can't help but think that like if they had someone like Teruki Endo, like, you know what I'm saying, like working on this, or, you know, Ryota Suzuki to like come in and like be like, just tweak this aspect like a little bit, right? Then this combat probably would have been a lot better received. And I also think that it just definitely needed a hard mode, because without it, you know, people just play the game, and if the game lets them mash X and win, then that's exactly what people will do, right? Ah, I missed that one. But I won't miss that one. That one's so easy, though. Let's see. No. Can't get that one. Or maybe my timing was bad, I don't know. Dang, that shit is so satisfying. And if you pair it with like the greatsword, it's awesome. Reminder, this game was supposed to have KH2S combat, right? And this is very far from Kingdom Hearts 2 combat. But it is interesting to mess around in. Oh, okay. Like, I guess I am supposed to attack there. But it's so weird. Heal me up. It's even cooler if you swap to the shield in perfect parry and attack mid-combo. Right, and that's what I really want to try working on here. Is like, we're comboing, and then I switch over to the shield, and then I... But that takes a lot of dexterity to do. Nice. Oh, warp flee. Okay. Dang, I've somehow like not noticed that till just now. That. It's funny how they were planning to eventually overhaul Noctis's entire moveset with Dawn of the Future, then all that got canceled. If I recall correctly, all we got to see from that overhaul was Armature Unleashed. Yeah. Which I bet that the game was going to end up being like incredible once that rework happens, but unfortunately that was just something that we didn't get to experience, right? Okay. See if I can get the warp for this time. Nice. Dang. Okay. Nice. Don't recall you ever mentioning what kind of battle system you'd ever personally want for a hypothetical Verum Rex game. Well, I kind of would just want like what Versus like was kind of sold to me as, which was like a KH2 game, but like Final Fantasy. Holding away from the enemy and attacking the sword gives an invincible backflip. Then if you continue to hold away while attacking, you'll shift to warp-based combat. Oh, interesting. Holding away from the enemy and attacking this. Wait. Interesting. Oh, I know what you mean. Like when you hold back on the analog stick, it'll trigger the warp because you'll do the backflip. Okay. Yeah. So like, if I'm attacking and oops. Try again. Try one more time. So if I'm attacking and then, yeah. If I go back on the, oh. Fucking shit. I just want to be able to practice this, bro. Yeah. Huh. I wonder what the appropriate course of action for that is. Okay, so hold it. Yeah. And you said go back. And if you continue to hold away while you're attacking it. Oh, continue to hold away. Okay. Let me see that. Oh! And then you can just launch right into... Ah, I fucking see. I see. I see. And you can like launch straight into it. Actually, wait. Target. Okay. He's still... Dang, I fucking hate that grab. And I didn't warp out of it either. Nice. There we go. Return to a playable area. Out of bounds, I guess. Don't want me seeing the rest of Insomnia, I guess. Bro, come back over here. They won't let us play over there. That's funny. Oh shit. Yeah, learning how to air step good actually takes a lot of skill. Like, you can't just like air step and it be like cool without that skill. Like you have to learn how to really dodge enemy attacks while you're doing it. Yeah, dang. And that much I cannot do because he can always catch me with that. But we can get better. Try Armature. Dang, Armature. Yeah, 15 has a high skill ceiling. Yeah, for sure. Just switching between the weapons to do different combos is actually like, is actually pretty crazy. Warp striking without locking on while airborne, iframe dodge, and then continue to combo. Okay. Really, without locking on. Interesting. I'll play around with that. Okay, let me turn off that one. Oh, I can kind of see why. I feel like you're able to dodge better without the lock on, unfortunately. Like, I feel like the lock on actually makes it worse to air step, now that you mention it. Triangle the warp strike itself when you see an attack coming? Okay. Without locking on? Okay. Interesting. Also ignore normal warp strike. You can get behind him like that. What, through air step? Okay, nice. You can feel that the game is made with casual gamers in mind, hence it doesn't force you to engage with its mechanics too much. Even though there is so much depth to it. Yeah. There is so much depth to it, but the game is just like, nah, you don't have to try. Which is why I didn't, you know, the first time I played this, and that's why I want to go back and be like, okay, what happens if I do try? Shit. Oh shit, I'm still locked on. Dang, okay. Oh fuck, I like went straight into it. Let me turn them on, off, no, it won't let me. Thought I did hit that, but I guess not. Okay, let me heal up real quick. Dang. Let me see something real quick. And then also too, you can kind of cheese stuff. Like, if you really want to be super casual about the combat, you can just like spam those type of high up warp strikes, and then oh fuck, no. I swear to God, I pressed triangle there, and I don't understand why I don't get it. I got it once. Yeah, just warp, yeah. Yeah, because you can definitely just do cheese strats like that in the main game, and it's just like, who the fuck's gonna stop you, right? Warp strike plus the correct weapon is enough for the half game. For half the game, right? Yeah, you can definitely just warp strike spam and win the whole game. Yeah, the greatsword has a unique parry. Yeah, we had saw that earlier, and it's the same one that you can see from like the early E3 trailers. It's actually like really fucking insane the amount of weapon variety that exists in this game. Like, there are so many different weapons in FF15. It's actually nuts. Oh, wait. touched it. Okay. I feel like I am supposed to warp strike and interrupt him, that attack, but then it always damages me a little bit too. My guy, if you played Stranger of Paradise, that game has 10 different weapon types for one character. That's true. Stranger of Paradise does have a lot of different weapon types. Like, you can do that, but then you fall down and you take like a little bit of damage. You warp strike through him by not locking onto the deal. Oh. So don't lock onto him whenever he does that? And then warp strike him? Is that? Oh, okay. So it seems like lock on is just like the wrong thing to do in most situations. Fuck. Fuck. Okay. Come at me, bro. No? Okay. I don't even know what I'm trying to do now. Let me see some armature tech. Okay. Yeah, because like lock on, it seems to like want to force me to lock on, even when I don't want to lock on. Like once I start hitting the enemy, it'll lock me on. And I don't know, is that like a soft lock or a hard lock? Is there a way to change the lock on in any way? No. Dang, doing proper air stepping is like... I think holding R1 does manual locking. No, in the demo build, you just click R3 to lock. But the thing is that once I start attacking, the game actually locks me on. So I don't even think I have a choice, really. Yeah, in terms of soft lock, no way to change. Okay. Yeah, I think if the game like simulated like realism a little less, it would. Oh fuck. Let me pay attention to the game. But I think if it simulated realism like a little less, it would all flow together like a lot more. Yeah, holding R1 doesn't do anything in like this demo build, like at all. Yeah, I'm pressing it and like literally nothing happens when I hold R1. That might be the full game. Yeah, I assume it's the full game. 'Cause that sounds about right for the full game. Yeah, the not locking on at all is to move in this demo. Yeah, no, you don't even get a choice if you want to lock on in this demo is like what I'm saying, right? So see how like, okay, hold on. See how I don't have it locked on? If I just like, if he could stop attacking me for a second. If I just attack him, see, like it immediately locks on. Or it immediately soft locks, I guess. Like once I do that. Yeah, I mean, not hard locking, yeah. So. Is FF15 your favorite FF? No, it's 10. Okay, yeah, you can go back, right? So like the thing to do, obviously, that's like really like the good way to dodge there, is that if he's coming for you with that fist, then flick back on the analog stick, dodge out of it. I was trying to like dodge over to the side, right? But it seems like for that attack in particular, dodging back seems to like... Where would I put Final Fantasy 15? Let's do the full playthrough of the game first again, and then maybe I'll have a good placement for it. I don't really know where I'd put it right now. Or rather, it's just more like, I feel like where I will put it after will be different than where I'd put it based on memory. Dang, okay, maybe not. Or maybe I'm not doing the timing right enough. Oh, no. I'm in stasis. That takes quite a bit of practice. For sure. What do you think of OG 15's combat? It was really something, right? There's no risk to warping further away versus short. That's a mechanical flaw. Yeah, for sure. Because warping further away just seems to make the most sense, right? Because if you warp far away, and then you come crashing back down, you have a risk of, or you could potentially stagger the enemy. And then, yeah, so. Yeah, I think that there's so much good in the combat that they wanted to make here. It just needed to be refined a little bit more. Oh shit, that was awesome. Nice. And also too, like I wonder if it's possible. I mean, it is. Because I want to be able to be mid-combo, right? I want to be able to be mid-combo and then switch over to the shield and then do a parry. But, what the fuck? Let me get up. Let me get up, bitch. Okay. know. Oh, it's because I'm not locked onto him. That's why. Dang, he gets stuck in that for a second. Okay. I'm in stasis. Oh, he's gonna cook me. Dang. Carbunky. I just want to blow this up. Nice. What the fuck was that? Armature is so like broken here that you just press it and like he just dies. Yeah, only with the shield does warp striking cancel it out, and even then you take like a little bit of damage for it. But okay, one more time. Mess around one more time. So, objectively, the correct way to start the fight. And then, make sure you have hero shield equip. And then parry that. Okay. Dang. And you can do this, but you take some damage. Okay. Damn it. And then I fucking press it. I don't understand why it doesn't go off. Do I have to hold it? But it doesn't work whenever that happens. Okay. Oh, oops, overdid it. Fucking stasis. I do feel like this game would be better with just no MP. Honestly. I do feel like that would make things better. Fuck, I hate that attack. I wish there was like a better way to... Okay, I'm gonna try a hold this time. No, hold doesn't work. What the fuck? It does it after though. Is there a delay in my capture card? I don't know, but it does not take that input for me. See if I can. Okay, I'm gonna try this one more time. No, it still doesn't let me do it. What the fuck? That's like the one move of his that I still haven't figured out yet. Yo, did he just like reach behind his ass? That was kind of wild. I haven't seen him do that in like all the time we've been playing. That's another thing too, right? Is that it does feel like all the other characters in the game feel better to control. Kind of because as the dev team figured out how to do action combat better, it's kind of reflected in the other characters. So, how much of this shit can we explore? We can go back here and wish that we were playing Versus and wish that Insomnia was more open than what it is. Also, Kit Noctis's hair physics are crazy good. I don't know if you guys are seeing this, but like the way his hair sways when he moves, pretty fucking good. You can see their the direct progression of their competence from Noctis, Gladio, Prompto, Comrades, Iggy, Arden, Armature, Unleash. Yeah. And then unfortunately that they didn't get to like put the combat that they learned from episode Noctis into this game, right? Because if they were able to get episode Noctis in here and like go back and be able to refine Noctis's gameplay once more, it would have just been incredible, man. It's just so unfortunate that Final Fantasy 15 was canceled twice. Like, let's just be honest, right? Like one time with Versus and then another time with Dawn of the Future. And it just feels like Final Fantasy 15 is something that unfortunately we're never going to get that type of resolution on that we're looking for, right? Like we're never going to get that that moment where it feels like the thing that we were looking for with this IP is fulfilled. And it feels like we got the fulfillment and completion that we're looking for, I guess, is just the words I'm looking for. I will say if episode Noctis happened, I would have wanted them to overhaul Noctis combat for the whole game. My understanding was that there were talks for them to do exactly that, right? There were actually talks for them to overhaul Noctis combat. What does this one do? The fuck? Oh, it's a weather one whenever you have it activated, the enemy activated. The thing is a tale never told. I'm gonna say it. Square Enix needs to learn how to restrain themselves when it comes to Final Fantasy 15. Would have been great if, well, yeah, scope creep is really the big thing that happened with this whole project. Honestly, starting with Versus, but honestly, it carried over to this game, right? The thing with Versus though is that it wasn't going to be as bad because with Versus, you were going to have different games, and those different games would have allowed them to figure it out, right? In the same way that they have with Final Fantasy VII Retrilogy. I can only think that if FF7 Retrilogy was a single game, it probably would have been a fucking disaster, right? It wouldn't be nearly as good as the games that we have right now. I find FF15 fun grinding for magic with loot and then maxing comrades. Also has a fun weapon upgrade system, yeah. Yeah, scope creep is like a big part of the problem. And so, I mean, even thinking about what we wanted from this game, right? It's so insane. There are not too many open world games with Uncharted-like set pieces. But this was supposed to be a game that had Naughty Dog level set pieces, and it was open world. And if you think about that for even a moment, how the fuck is that supposed to work, right? Like, how the fuck are we supposed to have, you know, the qualities of a AAA linear game and an open world game without a GTA level budget? You can see the Death God handing the ring to someone on the statue picture. What the fuck? Dude, there are still so many leftovers of that in this game. It's actually kind of hilarious. You guys ever think about the Ring of the Lucii? And how the Ring of the Lucii is absolutely not a ring of light, like, at all? It's literally a fucking death ring, right? Like, it drains enemies until they look fucked up and deformed. It, like, literally sucks the life out of them. And that's a holdover from Versus as well, because Death Goddess, obviously. But, like, it has no place in Final Fantasy 15. Below the statue of the two women. Okay. All the symbolism in Final Fantasy 15, like these two women here, don't make sense in the final game. There's so many things that don't make sense in the final game because it was never meant for this game. This is a Kingdom of Death, by the way, right? And I do think it still makes Final Fantasy 15 kind of interesting whenever that subtext is there. But, like, holy crap, dude. Like, it's so obviously not that. It's so obviously not meant to be, like, the kind of thing that they kind of made it into. And I get why they couldn't, but the sinister nature of the gods was barely alluded to. Yeah. I really don't like the way Noctis's, like, fate was kind of delivered in the game. Because it was basically like, you basically just get to Bahamut, and Bahamut's like, bro, you gotta die. And then you just go to sleep for 10 years. He was so close to the picture, but he won't look up at it. Where the fuck is the picture? Maybe I'm clearly I'm missing it, but you said it was between the two ladies, or for a game that had been rebooted and given 3 years to make something of it, open world was a huge mistake, right? But they had already promised that it was going to be open world. They couldn't back down from it. The correct thing to do would have been to make this a linear game. And not because the open world of this game is not fun, but just because, given the time constraints that they had, they gotta be in the water. Let's see. I still don't see it. Open world is good. It's not about good or bad, ironically. It's not about good or bad. It's about the time constraint, right? Because they had to turn the project around in like 3 years. Did you guys know that Versus was like originally like the hard deadline for Versus was supposed to be like 2014? Run towards the statue. Okay. I'll run toward it. But wait, do I have to be in the water while running toward it? I do not see it. But it's okay if I don't. Oh wait, is that it right there? Oh shit. Let me make it daytime. Hold on. I think I see what you mean. On the water. Yeah. But I think I already see what you mean. Right here. Right. That picture up there. Let's wait for... You changed the weather? Oh shit, my bad. Let's see. Is it this one for daytime? Okay, there we go. Interesting. And it's funny too because even in Kingsglaive, there is still like references to like Etro, right? Like even in Kingsglaive, whenever Nyx warp strikes, he can hear like his dead sister. Which I thought was like fucking crazy because I'm like, holy shit, okay. You still have like death in there that deeply. I love the lighting in this engine. Yeah, for sure. I had said something on Twitter recently that had went viral. And I said that if you compare this game, basically maxed out, and you compare like Rebirth and 16 to it, this game still looks better to me on, like, again, maxed out, both of them. This game looks better for sure. Dude, that looks like a fucking like some kind of like Reaper, Dark Angel, Fallen Angel type creature. It's really interesting. There's also like just plainly obvious evidence, that they changed the story of this game in such like a retconny way through the DLC. Like to make Bahamut like the main villain of all this was like pretty insane because he clearly was not the main villain or their intended main villain. And then also Eos was definitely meant to be a goddess. Like there is like no fucking question that Eos was meant to be like her own goddess. And then they retcon that into being Era. And I just feel like there's very obvious, like, you go back and you look at that and it's like, yo, that was not meant to be Era. Like, what the fuck? Y'all made that up. You look back at like the artworks and stuff like that and it literally doesn't even make sense. Why would it be Era? This is like, anyway. Not gonna lie, as initially unintended as it was, pulling a Bunavelza with Bahamut works so fucking well. Yeah. You'll never guess who Azunia is? We still don't know who the fuck Azunia is. We still don't know. We still don't know, Chad. We still don't fucking know who Azunia is. That's so fucking funny. Holy shit. Damn. We still don't know. Who the fuck is Azunia? Bro, we thought it was his brother. And then they were like, no. His brother is Somnus. I think the Azunia line was a mistranslation. Was it though? Because I feel like people would have known that. Hold on. Hold on. Dang, we don't have Japanese subtitles, so I might not have a good read on this, but hold on. Let me see something real quick. Oh.
前に侵された者は化け物とみなされ殺された。
Oh, hold on. I might be cropped for you guys. Let me see. Oh, that's fine.
自分の体に病を吸い取り、一人で病人たちを救っていた男が、まだクリスタルに選ばれていなかった王は。
Oh, you guys can't read the English subtitles if I do that. Okay.
唯一の男を殺してしまった。化け物呼ばわりしてな。俺の名前さ。 あれ本名だけど正式名じゃなかったんだよね。アーデン・ルシス・チェラム。正式名。あ、イズニアは誰のせいだったか。ノクト。
No, that's not a mistranslation. That's not a mistranslation. At least as far as I know, as someone with better Japanese, it does not seem like that's a mistranslation.
誰のせいだったか。誰のせいだったか。
Yeah, because well, that's wrong in the subtitles. Yeah, he says Izunia Dari no se tataka. Yeah, I don't think. I guess I'm full of shit. Joe, to be fair, I am nowhere near fluent at Japanese, so I could also be interpreting that wrong. I could also be vastly interpreting that wrong. So don't take my word for it. Who is Izunia? This question has bothered me so much since the ending of chapter 13. Excuse me if you heard me burp. Whole part of the story is seriously convoluted. Let me fucking goddamn. I mean, bless your heart. It's not in the game or other media, so how am I supposed to know? In the German bestiary? What the what the fuck? Check the comment that mentions select language. Okay. In the select languages of the character dossiers, Arden's one specific outlines that Izunia is the original family surname, while Lucius Kylum is a title given by Bahamut alongside the crystal to guard. Was concluded and then disregarded by episode Arden and Dawn of the Future. Both of these are very contradictory to the main game lore, and both the novel version of episode Arden and the DLC even contradict each other. What the fuck? What the fuck? Are you serious? What the fuck, chat? That's crazy. Zunia is the original family surname. Okay, now the sentence in Japanese makes more sense, because what he says in Japanese, again, I'm better at reading than listening, but like what he says in Japanese, it kind of sounds like you'll never guess whose fault Izunia is. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Or like who's responsible for Izunia? I'm like, what the fuck does he mean by that? Am I stupid? Do I not? And now with the context of like Lucius Kylum is the title given by Bahamut, now it makes sense. But why was that not like, why was that a thing we read about in the bestiary? Why was that the thing in the bestiary, dog? That's like, that's pretty fucking insane. Is there a name meaning for Izunia? What the fuck? Okay, I was wrong. In Japanese, he says whose surname was Izunia. Okay. Interesting. Because when he says no say, I thought he meant like... Anyway. I was hearing it wrong. In German... Okay, in Japanese, he says, whose surname was Izunia. I'm reading like a Tumblr post. Let me put it up on the screen for you guys. If it'll let me... You'll never guess whose name Izunia was. In Japanese, whose surname was Izunia. In German, Arden says, who else's name was Izunia? In French, he says, but Izunia has remained my surname. Izunia is a surname, not the first. It is indeed Arden's real surname, but not his official name. His official surname is Lucius Kylum. If he had become king, his name would have been changed to Arden Lucius Kylum. In episode Ignis, where Arden gives his full name, he says in French and in German, Arden Lucius Kylum Izunia. This implies that that Izunia is his birth surname and that Lucius Kylum is a royal surname. Interesting. But he only does that in French and German and not the English or Japanese, it seems. Since they belong to the same family, if Izunia's Arden's birth surname, it is also Somnus's birth surname. It is safe to assume that Somnus Lucius Kylum used to be known as Somnus Izunia before he became king. Had the crystal not rejected Arden, maybe Somnus' surname would have remained Izunia, and his descendants would bear the name Izunia as well. Noctis is a descendant of Somnus, so Noctis' name should be Noctis Izunia. Who else's surname was Izunia is a rhetorical question. Arden is taunting Noctis here. I believe when he says, you'll never guess whose name is Izunia, what he means is, guess what, Noct? Izunia is your real surname. I should be the one named Lucius Kylum. Okay, that's a very good post. Apparently, Izunia is Hebrew or Polish for God is my oath. Holy shit, okay. That's pretty interesting. Wow, okay. That's some pretty good lore. I didn't know that. Oops, I fucked up my thing. That's some pretty good lore. Okay, we learned something. This is, and chat, this is why I wanted to go back through this with you guys in particular. This is why I wanted to do these streams. Because we're going to uncover so much shit with this game. And we're going to piece together the story, hopefully, or I want to, in a very meaningful way that's going to be charitable to the game that I aim for. C15. And we mean that both in a literal sense and a meta sense, where we're going to put together the development story, and we're going to put together the game's actual like literal story. So there was so much information that came out, and you know, at the time people were trying to put it together. But now we have the benefit of hindsight and being able to put all these questions together. So we're going to see if there's as many plot holes as we think that there are. And I also want to see if, like, I want to, like, read through Dawn of the Future, like, in its whole. Did you like the movie at the time? I did actually like Kingsglaive at the time. I was kind of bitter about it not being a playable part of the game, but I did enjoy Kingsglaive as a movie because I think the coolest thing about it was that it was something that I was able to take, or didn't really like know about Final Fantasy in depth, and I was able to be like, hey, this is this thing that I really like, and I'm really looking forward to, and it's gonna be a game, and this game is gonna be like the best game ever, and it's been in development for like 10 years, and blah 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 blah. And yeah, so I was really excited about that at the time, and yeah, it was pretty cool. Okay, let's go ahead and finish up Platinum Demo. Dude, the fact that their lighting can change in real time, like that fast, and that effortlessly, it's actually pretty ridiculous. Technically so impressive. When Luminous works, it was a very cool engine.
Thanks. See you.
Also, did anyone notice how this is like a completely different car than the one in the main game? I guess it makes sense though, right? He wouldn't be driving around the same car like 10 years later, maybe.
Wait. I remember your name now.
Carbunky. However, Noctis's Fragment Dreamscape offers only a mere taste of what's to come. In Final Fantasy 15, you will join a grown-up Noctis and his dependable buddies on a journey across an immersive and expansive world. From all of us on the Final Fantasy 15 team, including your favorite little magical guide, we look forward to seeing you again soon. Would you like to order Final Fantasy 15? Okay. Sweet. Luminous was cool. Carbuncle? Haha. That is funny. Yeah, I think when we play the FF15 main game, what we'll do is that we will do it in DLC order. So yeah, we'll actually play to the canon essentially of when the events happen, because I do actually think that is the better way to play through Final Fantasy 15, so that the story is more comprehensive. I think we can stream Brotherhood. I don't know if we can or we can't, because it's just available for free on YouTube, right? There shouldn't be anything stopping us. Well, then again, music videos are also available for free on YouTube, so it doesn't really mean anything. Let me see if there's reaction videos, like other people react to Brotherhood. Okay, there are reaction videos that I see. Not that many, though. Huh. They'll probably shaft you for it, yeah. But I mean, it's a free anime. It's a free anime that's available on YouTube. Why can't I stream it? Why can't why can't I stream it, guys? Oh, you know what? You know what'd be a good test? Maybe I can do this. Maybe if I have like if I get like a burner account and I upload it, and I just see like if on the burner account they flag it, then I'll know if you can do it or not. Or I guess I could upload it to the main channel and like keep it privated, and then as long as I don't hit publish, it shouldn't like... I know I can do it on Twitch. Actually, maybe we'll do it so that like the Brotherhood reaction is like a Twitch exclusive. If you guys on YouTube don't mind, they do copyright people for versus trailers. Make a VOD channel? I could. Well, no, there's no point in making a VOD channel because the YouTube channel is like the streams there save like a VOD. This is a 15-minute demo, and I spent between, like, at the start it said like 3 hours, right? So I spent 3 hours playing the 15-minute demo. Then I spent another 2.5 hours playing it. So I got like almost 6 hours out of this demo in total. Yeah, okay, cool. So it might have to be a YouTube exclusive, but we might go back and watch all the Brotherhood together. So if you guys on YouTube don't mind coming over to Twitch, not right now, not today, obviously, but probably maybe Friday, we'll do a Brotherhood watch together. And we'll just like live react to the episodes. This has been so long since I done that. And then I'm gonna get started on like the actual essay for doing all this. God, damn, dude, we got so much shit to go through. It's actually ridiculous how much like FF15 shit we have to get through, because essentially, I guess the way I'm gonna do the development essay is like, it's gonna be like 4 chapters: 2013, 2014, 2015, and then 2016. Right? So I'm gonna look through all the different arcs of Final Fantasy 15. I think 2014 will actually be the most interesting, because obviously 2013 is like is when the game is still doing its best to pretend that it's versus, and then 2014 is when we kind of slowly start to find out, hey, this game is actually not fucking versus. This game is not versus at all. It's something else that uses like versus's assets and aesthetics to create a new game, but it's not actually versus. I gotta admit though, it was cool getting to turn on my PlayStation 4 for the first time in like 7 years or 6 years, whenever I last used this thing. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, awesome. I'm super excited. We will read through some interviews soon together. We'll watch some active time reports. And then we're also going to do the platinum demo stuff. And yeah. What was your reaction when you found out that the battle system for KH2 was going to serve as the battle system for Versus 13? Dude, I loved it. I was like so hyped about that. That was like the greatest thing ever to me. I loved Kingdom Hearts 2. Love Kingdom Hearts 2. I literally, dude, I imported KH2 FM. I'm lying. I fucking like pirated that shit. But I I don't know why I say import it. But yeah, I was playing KH2 Final Mix on like my PS2. And I love that shit, man. But like, yeah. But also I was like 16, 17. So That was like the only way I could play it. It's cool that we saw a bit of Versus 13 combat in KH3, having more of a focus on different weapons. I genuinely wonder if form changes and keyboard transformations were a loose relic of Versus's combat. I kind of feel they were. Crazy how you can feel the death of the franchise playing FF15? No. Versus 13 would have been a mix between KH2 and 7R. Combat-wise, that's the way I kind of interpret it. Yeah, I agree. I pirated OG Japanese KH2 when it hit, as in burning ISOs to a disc. Oh man, take me back, brother. Take me back. Take me back to the good days. Well, yeah, but it's like, you know, you couldn't have even bought it legitimately if you wanted to. I mean, you could have, but it wouldn't work on your PS2 because it was region locked, right? So it's like you had to do that stuff if you wanted to play Final Mix. It's really unfortunate, but that's just the way it was. Okay, guys. I think that is going to be it for today's stream. If you're on Twitch, we're going to raid my friend Catnaps. And if you're on YouTube, they still don't have a raid functionality for whatever reason. So, or if they do, I fucking don't know how to use it. Until then, I'll see you guys probably on Friday for more FF15. Peace.